Live from Met Spring Training in Port St. Lucie, Florida. It's Locked Up Sports. Your team, your town, your show.
Leading off for your New York Mets, the center fielder, number 9, Brandon Nimmo. Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Mets, number 39, Edwin Diaz.
All right, so now we're joined by another special guest, Brett. We got the public address announcer at Citi Field for the New York Mets, Colin Cosell. Colin, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me back. I can't believe you actually brought me back.
Well, it's because we got the tour. You brought us into the press box. You get to come back one more time. So that's how it works. We're not too happy about the setup you got going on, but we're gonna live with it. So that's gonna cost you another tour next season. Maybe a couple names in there.
This is dad life, man. This is dad life.
They
I
don't
don't know
got
if
to tell
we can
me.
time a rain delay the same way, but we'll give it our best shot.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, man, one thing I look forward to every season is that without fail, every season I will get booed for telling everyone to go home because the game has been rained out.
That's rough.
Yeah, they're not booing you though. They're not booing you.
You entertained them pretty well.
They're shooting the messenger straight up. I take it very personally.
We had a nice little delay, and you had everybody on the screen watching that Mario Kart, which was pretty entertaining. So people were going pretty good.
Oh, that's right. You were doing play-by-play for the Mario Kart.
Yeah.
It was very Kenny Albert-esque.
I can do any sport. Dude, I'm about to become a PA announcer for rugby, women's professional rugby. The New York Exiles.
Wow. Yeah, you're all over the place. You're all over the place. You're doing MC for corporate stuff. You're all over the place. It's the life of a public address
announcer.
announcer.
For us soon. We get it.
Dude, diapers ain't cheap. I can't tell you how happy I am to get potty training going, but enough. To your listeners, we were just sitting here having a dad hash out for 15 minutes before we started.
I got the little mini plastic fake toilet in my house too, though. Don't worry about it.
It's adorable. It makes a flush sound.
I want to use it. I told my wife I'm going to use it.
That's on you, man.
So how fun? Tell us how fun was that last year? That was great, right? That run that this team made.
Dude, that was incredible. Last October for me was insane because, and I mean no ill will or disrespect to any of the teams I've ever worked for, but I've never experienced that kind of success from the teams I'm working for at that specific time, because I'm the public address announcer for Army football, and I just completed my first season up at West Point. We have a spring game coming up in April 11th, so that'll be fun. But the Army was undefeated, and they were crushing it. Their quarterback was even in the conversation for the Heisman. And meanwhile, the Mets are on their run, and that was it's one of those things where, you taste it as a fan, and that's one thing. But when you are fully enveloped in the organization, and being a fan as well, you take all of that really to heart, everything that's going on. Case in point was when Alonso hit that shot to propel us past Milwaukee. I was in tears. I was in the kitchen of my house, 20 feet away from here, and I was watching it on my phone. It's a superstition. There's a big story behind why I was watching the game on my phone. It's superstition. I'll get to that another time. And then I saw the score change, and I went, "Oh my God!" And
you didn't watch it? You didn't watch the home run on your phone? You mean you were just watching the score?
I was watching the game cast.
Oh, good. Wow. Gamecast. Oh, man. Oh, that's got to be rough.
I was not watching it. I had it on TV. I shut it off, and it changed our fortunes. I am an ice hockey goalie.
Okay.
So I'm very superstitious, whack job. And so I had to follow what had been a winning recipe.
Whatever works.
And that was it. I had to turn off the TV, put it on my phone. Once I put it on my phone, Alonso hit that home run. And my wife and I'm crying. My wife's like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Honey, I don't want this to end. I never want this to end."
I think the best part, and probably for Army, is the best part how unexpected it was. For both of them, it's just it's not like these are two franchises you're expecting this to happen this year, and for it to happen all at once, it's you couldn't have asked for that when this year started.
Yeah, I mean, there was the moments with the Mets are the ones that you're going to see in the highlights on SNY. They're going to be a part of an opening montage, just unbelievable moments. And for Army, it was a record-breaking season for them, in terms of victories, the way they were doing it, the personnel and everything. And the experience up there for me, I mean, it's very humbling, very intimidating, because I'm a layman. I could by no means serve in the military unless it was for like.
They're better people than we are. They're just better people than we are. They are. They're just better people than we are.
They're doing stuff I can never do. Put me on like a PSO tour or something like that. I'll go up there and do like some stand up for the troops or something. That will be my.
Everybody's got their use.
That's
You're not good looking enough to do that, all right?
I have to dust off some really old jokes from my stand up days.
But it was, and that was just one of, 5 iconic home runs, and that team's going to be, I said that those 6 weeks or 8 weeks, that team's going to be coming back to Citi Field for Old Timers Day and all kinds of stuff, and they're going to be getting standing ovations for those 6 weeks for the rest of their lives. That's how fun that team was.
No, it's amazing. It was, but it also, what was great about it was it let us off gently into the night. Like, obviously losing was what it was. I think everyone was very realistic about the fact that the Dodgers were going to win it all no matter what. A team that deep, $1 billion team of deferred payments for the next 30 years or whatever. We were a Cinderella story, and it was going to end. And I think people made peace with it a lot faster than they would have in 06, which took like years to get over. You know what I mean?
You're over it.
Thank you. I would see that clip, and I'm right back in the TV room of the house I grew up in, sitting in a lazy boy chair, like at the edge of my seat, screaming bloody murder.
I was 3 rows behind the visitors' dugout, and first of all, I stumbled upon that ticket. My ticket was voided, and they wouldn't let me in at the gate, so I bought them off of eBay, which was the first year they were allowing this type of thing to happen. And so I'm leaving the stadium going, oh, my God, I can't believe this is the only game I'm going to miss. And I'm kicking my feet, I'm holding my head down, and I find a ticket.
Found a ticket.
Between 2 cars. And I go, oh, it's probably from yesterday's game or whatever it was. And I look down, it says 5J.
You believe that?
And I look, and I walked up, and I got up to 3rd, 4th, whatever row it was. And I sat down, and I'm sitting there 3, 4 rows back off the Cardinals dugout.
Same row as Trump.
Ticket. The guy comes in now. He sits down, he goes, how'd you get this ticket? And I go, I found it. He goes, my buddy lost it. He thought someone stole it from him. I go, your buddy's an idiot, and he dropped it. He goes, that sucks. Let's go get some beers.
That's an amazing story.
Okay, that was the first thing that went through my mind. I'm like, okay, so that means you're going to be seated next to one of the people who actually was.
He came in, he goes, that sucks for my buddy. And this is like it wasn't like, texting and social media and all that stuff at the time. So it was just very much like, we're here now. And he grabbed around a beer, and we had a couple beers, and we watched, Andy Chavez and the curveball, and
how much better if he just got a base hit,
and all of it. And again, I've never heard anything go as silent as that moment in that stadium. And I heard them cheer as if I could hear them in dead silence.
Yeah, you could hear them off TV,
20 feet away. It was sick.
But and you say it was easy. It was easy to let go, and we knew what was going to happen. I think it would have been different if we lost Game 5. We had to win that Game 5 and send it back to LA.
I think that helped.
Oh yeah, losing at home, is always brutal. And you got that sense though, like that was almost like the poetic justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's like having, like if you have to put your dog down, having the vet come to you so you don't have to bring him to a place they don't like. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's
that's a good analogy. And Alonso right off the bat, the 3-run homer. It was a good day for the start. We were at that game. It was a good day right from the start.
Yeah. I was at every single home game. Modisol worked half of them. I worked the other half. I had the great fortune of being up in the 500s visiting some friends who had their tickets, and I was loitering, I'll be honest. And all of a sudden the bases were loaded with Lindor coming up to bat. And I was like, we were about to take a selfie, and I was like, quick, take this picture because something's going to happen right now. Yeah. Like, we need to watch this. And no sooner did we go click, all right, turn around, and then watch the ball at about eye level going out. And we just went ballistic. And it was so nice to be there as a fan that night. Like, I would have loved to have been on the mic, obviously.
Oh, of course.
But to be in that environment as a fan again for the first time in 7 years was like, I lost my marbles. It was incredible, like tears streaming.
It was great.
It's been building up in all of us for so long for that moment to happen. We've gotten even too close to that moment where we wanted that to happen, or to watch Beltran sit there and take that curveball. That's the stuff where we're expecting the worst. Bob said, "Oh, we got to get to Atlanta, and we better get there where we don't have to win 2 out of 3 because there's no way you're just stuck in this. We're so used to it.
So we better get to Atlanta."
It really feels like that season is like this emergence into something new.
So that leads me into like, okay, so they let us off gently into the night, and then we watched the Yankees make a complete debacle of the World Series.
That helps.
Exactly. So that was an enjoyable World Series, and the Dodgers are not a dislikable team, other than like this whole shady
I guess you're right.
thing. They're a likable group of guys. I mean, if you've got Freddie Freeman on your team, I'm sorry, but like that's a guy I want to go out and shoot a round of golf with.
Yes,
100%.
There's a guy who sits in front of us, in front of the booth at Citi Field. I don't know his name. I kind of know what he looks like, but he's got a very strong, powerful boo. And it will happen like when it's dead silent and the opposing batter will announce, they'll be like, Freddie Freeman. And he'll go, and he just goes, go at the top of his lungs. And you can hear it. I'm sure you can hear it clear as day on every broadcast.
Yeah, definitely can. It's like the kid in the spring training games who's down low. Remember that? Have you seen that? Yeah. And he's screaming the whole game, and there's people all over the internet going, who is this guy? I'm like, give me a break. Let the kid do. Why are you watching spring training games for cover to cover anyway? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and taking it so seriously. Like, come on, I want to hear the broadcast. But so he does this, and I usually find it pretty funny. But one time it was Freddie Freeman who came up to bat and he booed. And I literally just reached out my window or stuck my neck out my window and went, he's a nice guy. Yeah. And that was it. That was the end of my argument. But anyway, so watching them win, fine. We lost to the best team. We gave them a better fight than the Yankees. But we also got a taste of what the Stearns, Cohen, mindset is.
But it's not going to be like that anymore. It's not going to be the underdog story, good story, have fun like that. Now it's expected.
We have hungry people. We have the right minds in place. And we had an off season where you could wear your Mets gear and no one came up to you and said, sorry about last season or, true. Mets fan, huh? It was all positive all winter long. Hell of a run. How was it at the ballpark? How about those Mets? Future looks bright. Then we signed Soto and it's like, holy crap. What better way to bridge the gap from that and those good vibes coming into this year. And now you know that Stearns is very, very adept at signing guys who are trying to resurrect their careers. He makes all these signings, fight for your spot. You want it, you're hungry, prove it. Happened last year, with a little bit of magic in there as well.
And if you earn it, you get to keep it, which is nice because they used to just give the spots away, even if you were just because you were paid more. Now it's earned.
Right.
Keep.
Do we have Theo Epstein? Is he our Theo Epstein?
100%.
Yeah, that's what you would call.
I met him the other day. He was the nicest guy in the world. I mean, he was so
Stearns?
nice. Yeah, so nice.
Oh, super nice. So we did the Amazing Fan Fest in January, and 10,000 fans showed up. It was.
I heard it was amazing. A disaster. I heard it was a disaster.
No,
the organization
the
one.
Autograph tent was.
Because you didn't know who you were getting, right? You didn't know you just kind of popped into a line, and then
the timing and everything. It was. I mean, that was. The reason for that is an outside company had been hired to help set up the event to assist with it. Like that's what they did in logistics. And then they came with a plan and the plan was a complete disaster. So our team, all right, dropped everything they were doing prepping for the 2025 season and instead went into event planning mode. So they did everything that did work well was the meticulous planning of a group of people who are not event planners.
They didn't kick people out though, right?
And it was unfortunate. It was the autograph tent. What's that?
It was like you had a 9:30 to 11 o'clock session, but they didn't kick at 11 o'clock. You didn't kick those people out, so they kind of just hung around. So now there's all kinds of people, and there's multiple sessions in there, and you think you go online for Mike Piazza, and all of a sudden it's Dave Magadan in the front of the line, and you're like, oh,
that's
shit,
That's how it always
is. The point of all of this is like the panel discussions we had and the opportunities for fans to like commingle and actually go around the ballpark. You take the autograph tent side of it out of it, and there's so many opportunities to meet these people anyway. Like if you play your cards right and just pay attention, like they're always around.
Yeah.
You'll get your chance. Like these are not like, hard autographs that come by. The rest of it really went seamlessly and it was a phenomenal experience. And so the point of all this is there was a VIP room as well. I thought it was a brilliant night or day, but I didn't have to go to the autograph tent. We had a VIP thing going on in the Delta Club and players and members of the coaching staff, like everyone was coming down there at some point or another. And I was talking with Stearns and then I was like, hey, I was interviewing the players and, coaching staff as they were coming in. over the PA system in the room. And I went up to Stearns. I was like, we were chatting for a minute. It's like, do you want to do a quick interview? And he's like, please just make it about the players today, no matter what. Like players and coaching staff.
Don't ask me about Alonso. Don't ask me about Alonso.
Yeah. And the worst part was we were standing in front of the Alonso jersey that hangs over one of the booths there.
And then the crowd started chanting right when Steve's talking.
Perfect. Hanging over Stearns.
Less than ideal. But he had the wherewithal to be like, let's make it about the players. Also, the setting's not right.
And also, listen, if you're a 40-year-old man and you're crying because you didn't get the autograph of a 23-year-old kid, you got other problems in your life. I mean, let's be real, right? If you're a kid, I get it. Coming in
and seeing these people. And I had the honor of interviewing a group of 7 of the 86 Mets. And we had an absolute blast.
Yeah.
And they lobbed a real nice fat curveball to me that I knocked out of the park.
I thought you were going to say joint. Real nice fat joint. They were.
We'll take a guess who it was.
And anyway, the Piazza Club was a very different environment that day.
Okay, nice, nice.
No, but it was a lot of fun. They made a reference to the Houston Astros cheating. One of their pitchers was stuffing the ball. And,
Mike Scott, I think, right? Mike Scott?
Yes, exactly. And so I was just like, so are you trying to tell me that the Houston Astros have been cheating for decades now?
Decades forever.
Nailed it.
Now, what about, are you glad, what's your thought on Alonso? Obviously, we're glad to have him back this year. Do you, I said it in every interview we've done. I want him to do good, excellent this year, opt out, and I want Guerrero.
I mean, that seems to be the kind of the status quo for the most part from what I'm hearing from people. I think a lot of people are worried that he's in a decline. I think he showed up to PSL looking trim and fit. He looks stronger. I think this is a man who is hungry. He realized that a contract year was squandered. And his agent, being who his agent is going to try to get top dollar. And sometimes it doesn't work in the player's favor. And that was one of these cases. I don't think it's Alonso's fault at all. I think it was very clear he wanted the Mets. The Mets wanted him, and a certain someone got in the way.
You think the Mets really wanted him?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I mean, they threw him that $70 million 2 years ago. Whenever they made that $200 million offer, obviously, but then they gave him a $70 million offer, which they knew he wouldn't take. I think Steve Cohen was kind of like, make him that just so I don't get killed at this fan fest that we got coming up, so we could say we made him an offer and he didn't take $70 million. Would you take $70 million? One of those situations. And I think they were like, if he goes, he goes, because that's where he was at when he said that at the fan fest. He kind of was like, well, it is what it is.
But he's not the one at the end of the day who's making that hard-nosed approach in negotiation. Like, that is what the agent is there for. He's fielding those phone calls and then reporting back to Alonso and vice versa. He's the middleman. So I think it was a very Boris-driven thing. But this is my speculation. I'm not a fly on a wall for any of it. I try not to get involved very much in any of it. I just want the players to be there that I enjoy, that I think are good for the team, that are good for New York. And I think Alonso checks all those boxes, obviously resoundingly for 6 years now. And getting him back, I think, was important. I think it was good. The Mets were ready to pivot, but that's part of the business. It was like, all right, if you're going to play hardball, so are we.
The Mets are going to do it on their terms now. There was a different time where they needed to get that one guy because it was the only guy they were going to add this year. That one guy might give us a shot to possibly do something unexpected. And now I think just the whole thing, and they wanted Alonso just not for as long as Alonso wanted to be there, and they're not going to do it for that one home run. And honestly, it would take away their option. Once he's there, you can't go bring in a Vlad Guerrero Jr. You can't go do any of those other things. So, listen, how do you think his season's going to go when you have Soto in the lineup now and you have Vientos emerging the way he has, and obviously Lindor and the rest of the team, but having them around him, how's that going to work for him this year?
I mean, I think it can only benefit him. I look at the way, that first interview I saw, that first picture of him down in PSL, and I was like, whoa, because, it's no secret he's got a little bit of a dad bod. Yeah. Well, that was not so much there. And I was really just saw him. So I think he's very hungry, and I think, greatness promotes greatness, especially when you got people that have the same goal in mind. And it's not self-centered or narcissistic in any way. And I think this is a group of guys. They understand, a lot of them played together last year. They know what those vibes are like. They know how to have a good time, but also get the job done. And I think that's infectious. You've got Soto, who's a proven winner. He's been to 2 World Series, won one of them. You know, you need to win just one to cement your legacy in this sport. He's been to 2.
Performed in both. And he performed in both. He's proven that he can do it in New York and on the big stage.
Yeah, he was great last year.
You know, Lindor is 100% pure New York now. Like, there's no question. You don't even think about the thumbs down days or anything like that. Diaz
I forgot about it. So you just said I forgot about the thumbs down. You're
right.
I forgot about it until you just said it. You're right.
It's when Baez comes into town. You're like, oh yeah,
that's it. We put it on him. We don't even give that.
Yeah, and a lot. You know what? Not many people get a second bite at the apple when it comes to a contract year back to back. He's got another one. He's got a second chance. He's got a second bite at the apple to make up for what he did last year. You know. And then listen, last year wasn't terrible. He had 30 home runs. It wasn't terrible.
No, it was. I mean, it was a good year by like a DH standards. You know what I mean? But if you're going to be the everyday first baseman, he's going to expect more. And I know he wants to do more. I know he's a very, very hungry, driven athlete. So I think it can only benefit. I mean, look at that top 4 that I get to announce this year.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
leading off Francisco Lindor, batting second and playing third, Mark Vientos, batting third and playing right, Juan Soto, playing first and batting.
You got your Soto call ready?
I mean, I've been announcing him for years. They just have been giving him the away treatment. You know
Alonso, because your Alonso one's probably your most famous, right? At this point. I think it is. I think
the one that's gotten the most views was Seymour Wiener, but no, my
one that's got the list. What about the Hoctua girl?
Good luck topping that.
It's your pitch.
So anyway,
that was like her crescendo. Yeah. That was like her crescendo.
Yeah, I got that's great. Edwin Diaz, that one's gotten the most.
Oh, Edwin Diaz. Yeah, well, obviously, yeah. You're right. The Edwin Diaz.
But yeah, I mean, Alonso, Lindor for me last year, I think kind of got into a groove because when he was playing My Girl, there was a rhythm to it that allowed me to introduce him and hit the mark on the music. So it goes like doon 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 doon. So it'd be like
get right
and shortstop. Francisco, Lindor.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly how you did it.
We were there with the Temptations.
I don't like the My Girl thing. I don't like it.
And the fans finally really got it. Like, they got it, like, nailed it perfectly. Like, I've never seen where that crowd, they didn't even need to announce any of the music or any of that. And then in the second at bat, it truly was. And I mean, that's your things where you videotape it.
Where did he come up with that?
When am I going to look at it? And I'm like, looked at that one.
Where did he come up with My Girl? Where did he come up with the My Girl thing? Do you know?
He's a dad.
Being a girl dad.
Girl dad, as a girl dad, you know. Come on.
Okay, fair enough.
He's about to have his first boy, though. So
that's a sad movie, though. Well, I guess the song's not from the movie, but that movie is, Macaulay Culkin dies in that movie.
You're thinking too deep.
You can't bury him without his glasses.
Every time. It goes like, you know what? Every time we have him on, me and him last time we went off the rails. We're talking
the point of the whole.
We're talking Cowbell Man and Dancing Larry last time, and now we're talking the My Girl movie.
It was a good. There was a whole good theme to that.
There's an abstract meme, and it's I think it was Salt and Pepper, and it goes, "Here I go again, ladies. What's my weakness?" And then it's Macaulay Culkin in My Girl, and it says bees.
Terrible.
It's like this abstract meme that like people who have seen My Girl would get.
And you're like our age and watched that at the time. It was a big deal. Like at the time, that was.
My sister's 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
So like that was right up
traumatizing. I'm sure.
And he was such a bad kid at that point. He was like divorcing his parents and everything. It was like it was after Home Alone. Forget it.
And then you go and watch Veep, and the girl from the movie is in Veep.
Oh, is she?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
I thought it was Topanga from Boy Meets World.
It is her. It's not her. It looks just like her.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks just like they look very similar.
It's definitely the girl from My Girl who has to give Macaulay Culkin his glasses so he can see in
That's
the
right.
casket.
In heaven, yeah.
Lives in a funeral home and thinks he needs his glasses? What an idiot.
This was just in my notes. So when we talk to the Mets PA announcer, let's talk about Topanga and my
babies and My Girl.
Perfect. Yep. But now what like you said, the top 4 you're going to get to announce. What are you most excited about this year? And are you doing opening day?
Yeah. So Marty and I for years now, we're coming to, this is our 8th season. hold on a second. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, our 8th season.
Okay.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's yeah.
That's so cool. I have to ingest that for a second. So 8 seasons. And every opening day, except for the first season, we worked together because we were hired mid-May. We split opening day. So the objective is to have, there's 81 games, 81 home games each year. The objective is for each of us to get 41 apiece. And we alternate series and we'll, make it work one way or another. And to make that happen, we split opening day. And it's kind of become the Citi Field tradition very quietly.
Who gets the opening and who gets the introductions?
So Marty always does the pregame and I do the in game.
Okay. Nice. That's good. More iconic Howie Rose call. Matteau, or he did it.
I mean, Matteau is like...
It's Matteau. That's the answer. It's not even that. It's Matteau. That's the answer. That's the answer. It was game 7. They won the title. It was the
setup question.
It's not even a setup question. I think it's an easy question. And Roseman, the guy we had a couple hours ago on, he thought about it too for a second. But it's Matteau.
It is.
Well, I mean, because you think about it, like, this is
Series.
Fresh.
Yeah.
You just lived it. And it was so amazing and so iconic. I mean, my God, like it was just, it flowed. He's a master of his craft and just an incredible human being. God bless Howie Rose. But Matteau is like, it's got everything. It's game 7, but it's the sentimental value.
Swoops in around the way he's great. He's great. Matteau swoops in around it's great.
We can enjoy, but we don't have to rank them. We can just enjoy it all. You know what?
That's
just
fair
make
enough.
it easy.
And I think the Lindor Grand Slam is maybe as far as just a call itself goes on its merits, I think it might even be a better call than the Alonso. That's just me.
I think that's a fair argument. I think it's like it's like a song. Like it depends on like if I'm in the mood for it that day or I'm in the mood for
but it's better because the crowd makes it better.
It was
too.
totally different when you watch Lindor come around and just how calm and cool he was about that thing. That's what made it like I was like, that's the guy. When I saw him hit the plate and his reaction, I was like, that is the most unfazed. I want that guy leading my.
He's the
team.
captain, whether they vote him or not.
And
He's
when's that? Yeah, and is that something that we should be expecting like during the season, like later? We've heard a rumor that it could possibly happen during David Wright's thing, and David Wright could be the one,
which we don't like because that would take it away from David Wright's day.
I didn't like.
I don't think they would do that.
Okay, good. That's actually glad to hear that.
Because you look at Cohen, he's got such an eye on Mets history, and you can see it in the overall culture change and, the resurrection of Old Timers Day, and suddenly this influx of numbers being retired. And, he inherited the Seaver statue, but kind of executed the finality of that. And it was, I think he would make sure that David Wright gets his own. It's David Wright Day.
That's what I said. Don't take away at all from the David Wright stuff. Is that something now that you would think that prior to this year they would do something like the captain stuff? Would they do it mid-season?
I don't think it matters in baseball as much.
Yeah, but it's more like everybody's talking about it now. So it's like one of those things where it's like, were they planning on doing it sometime in the future? Or is it like now they might actually do it because it's the big topic?
I mean, it is one of those, I see it from both sides. Like, I'm curious too. I wouldn't mind having a captain because when you think of David Wright, you immediately think of the captain, David Wright.
You're right.
And for Lindor and his leadership and that, iconic how cool he was. Like, it was zen-like.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty cool.
After crushing a Grand Slam home run against a bitter NL East rival in the division series, like for the
clincher and the clincher, right? It wasn't the clincher. The clincher.
Like, we're not just here. We're winning. Yeah, we're not just here to play. We're not just happy to be here.
Right. Dude just was rounding those bases like it was a casual stroll, and he just remembered he had to return a book at the library. It was
it was. And then when you talk about the Seaver statue, we've been doing this thing, just to get the publicity type thing. Locked up loot, we call it, where we put a shirt and a pair of tickets and a lanyard, and we go hide it somewhere. And we take a picture, and then people have to go and they go find
it on social media,
and they get it.
First to get it gets the.
So we put the first one on the Seaver statue. I went up there, I put it on the Seaver. I had to make sure there was no because a lot of vagrants walking around that area this time of year, from the subway station. So I didn't want one of them to pick it. Guy came over. Guy came over right as I was taking the picture, and I put it right by the Seaver foot. And he's like, "That yours?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just waiting for my buddy." He's like, "I wouldn't leave that there." And I'm like, no. And I go up to the subway after I left it there, and he's standing there, and he's like, "Can I get a swipe?" I was like, "Absolutely, you get a swipe. You swipe him into the subway." I'm like, that's more valuable than the shirt. But we left the first one at the Seaver statue. We've been leaving them all over Port St. Lucie at the stadium, and people had practice. Cool. Yeah, so it seems to be working for us. But yeah, it's something. He knows an artist that does it, a local artist on Long Island. That does
like we had Darryl Strawberry sign some. We left some Darryl Strawberry sign T-shirts, and people were running over, grab it. They posted on social media. Found my free T-shirt. Hey, enjoy it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, but it's gonna be a great year. And listen, I'd love to talk to you about the Rangers, but I don't want to put you in a bad mood, and I don't want to be in a bad mood because they can win, they can make the playoffs, sneak in as the 8th seed. They're not doing it. They're not a winning team this year. And Shesterkin, I'm down on Shesterkin.
Something's amiss, and I do think it's a top-down thing. I think it's Drury. I think the Laviolette is a great coach, and I do appreciate him.
But can you bring him back? Can you bring Laviolette back if they were so good last year, and then this year just fell on their face?
Well, I think we saw his true colors as a coach against the Panthers. Because he was so stuck on this specific approach to their game. Meanwhile, Florida adapted their game completely to overcome and suffocate ultimately the Rangers.
It was
and the Rangers were trying to beat them with grit and finesse, and they went too much with the finesse. And that was completely stifled by Florida. They adjusted their game accordingly and then shut us down. And Laviolette was so hard-nosed on this approach of finesse before grit that it was, it was kind of part of the team's identity. Like, bring it back in. I don't know. Super frustrating. You're right. Now I'm in bad.
2 years ago, I was talking. Yeah, I told you. And 2 years, it's the opposite of the Mets. It's the opposite of the Mets because we were so proud of them and we were okay with the loss because the Rangers. It's just they're throwing stuff at the television.
Yeah, no, it's
pissed off. That pissed me off. But anyway, we're up on baseball season. We're a couple weeks away. 2 weeks away. Colin Cosell.
Yep.
We'll be back. We're coming back for another tour this time during the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
3 weeks from today.
Is that what it is? 3 weeks from today?
Yeah.
No, it's 3 weeks. It's 2.
Yeah.
April 4th.
Oh, a home
Friday.
opener.
Yeah.
Home opener. The season opener, that's great. I'm a home opener.
Kicking off in Japan.
You act like you're not going to be watching the season opener. Like that's the opening day is opening day. I know there's a home opener.
Sorry, this is me being self-centered. I'm like,
I was going to say, I don't even go for the games anymore. I go for the PA announcement.
Yeah.
We just got to make sure we get this. No, good.
That'll be the day.
Focus on what's important.
You got to come to Citi Field and hear this PA announcer. The Mets playing that day.
Wait till you hear Edwin Diaz.
At least you're not the reason we leave.
Yeah, and then you show up and you get Colin, and then you show up and you get Colin doing the PA and not the girl you came to see.
Yeah.
Colin Cosell is his name.
Please rise if you don't mind. Sorry, it's me. Remove your tab.
Yeah.
Here's the anthem.
God,
so sorry.
damn it. You know what it's like? It's like when I went to my first Ranger game and Van Beesbrook was in goal and I was devastated because I'm a huge Richter fan. I was so upset. So upset.
I was devastated that Beezer didn't end up winning the cup with us. I wanted it to be I wanted Richter to be our starter. Yeah, but I wanted Beezer. I love John Van Beesbrook.
I've met him. Have you ever met him?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He's all around. I met him when he was in Florida. We used to go to the practices when I come down here to visit my buddy.
I have a Florida Panthers. This is how much I love Beezer. I have a Florida Panthers Van Beesbrook jersey.
Really?
Starter jersey.
Roger Nielsen used to ride his bike to practice when he was the coach of the team. Yeah, he used to ride his bike to practice, and I got a Van Beesbrook stick signed. Actually, my brother has it, but it's a broken Van Beesbrook stick signed. So yeah, it's great. So his name is Colin Cosell. He's the PA announcer for the Mets at Citi Field. Colin.
Hey.
Get back to that baby. Thanks for giving us a couple minutes.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna get a 10-minute nap in.
Yeah, please get out of here.
Let's go, Mets.
Thanks so much. Let's go.
Let's go. Thanks, Colin. Awesome. Thanks, man. Thank you. Get back. Go. Hopefully she stays asleep.